Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. We have just opened the session, and I will give people a few minutes to get on board with us. So please just bear with me for another 2 minutes, and I will make an introduction. Another 1 or 2 minutes, then we will get started. So I think we can get started now. So hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to today's training session for users and non-users of our course book, Marbles. And first of all, I would like to express my apologies for the confusion that has been about the platform to be used today for the webinar. It was originally planned to use Teams, but due to technical issues, we had to change that in the very last minute. So it's going to take place on Zoom, as you can see. And I hope that everybody has been able to sign up and register for the webinar and can follow us today. My name is Lars Madsen, and I'm the International Sales Director at Helbling, and I will be your host today for the next 60 minutes together with my colleagues Lucia and Miriam. Lucia from Helbling, the CEO from Helbling, and Miriam Bennis from Calliope, the CEO from Calliope. So thank you very much for joining us this Saturday morning, where you will enjoy the company of Dr. Herbert Puchta, the author of our 6 levels primary series Marbles. And I would also like to thank Miriam, Amin, and the whole Calliope team for helping us organizing this webinar today. Herbert will today share with you some practical ideas and guidelines about how to use and enjoy Marbles in your English lessons with your students, and he will use examples from levels 1 and 3, as far as I remember. Before we start, just a few words about Herbert. He holds a PhD in ELT pedagogy. He's a researcher, he's a writer, he's a teacher trainer, speaker, and has given lots of plenaries, talks, and trainings, workshops, seminars, webinars, etc., in more than 50 countries in the world over the past years. Well, I'm not going to hold you for very long, so Please, during the webinar, remember that your cameras and microphones will remain turned off. But if you have any comments or questions, you can use the chat box. And if you do so, please remember to address all your comments and questions to all participants. Select everybody, not only the panelists and the speaker, but everybody. And also a practical thing is that after the webinar, you will get a certificate of having participated directly from Calliope. And yes, I think that is all just for an introduction. So I would like to pass the word over to you, Herbert, to start the webinar.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Lars, for your introduction. I would like to thank Calliope and Helbling for organizing our get-together in cyberspace today. And I would like to thank you for taking part in our session. And I'd like to welcome you most warmly. Can I just repeat what Lars has said? Let's use the webinar chat for any kind of interaction during the session. I have just written there, good morning, everyone. And I'm not sure if you've actually seen it. And let's use the Q&A box. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer at the end of the session, okay? I will also, while we're going along, I'll have a look at the chat box too. So whatever you write there as a question, I will hopefully also be able to catch and reply to immediately. But we are a rather big group, so I may not always see that. So if you want to keep any questions for the last 5 minutes, write them in the Q&A box, please. All right, now let me just share my screen with you and let me open PowerPoints. So I hope you can see this now. So the session today is titled Get the Most Out of Marbles, our new course for primary children. And it's both. It's a training session for those of you who are actually working with marbles. And it's also a session for people who are interested in marbles and maybe want to adopt it next year. I can see from Khalid Zakari that the chat box seems to be deactivated. And I'm asking my colleague Lars to see to this. Interestingly, it seems okay here. But if the chat box doesn't work, then we will just ask you to use the Q&A box for any comments and any questions you might have. Okay, so let's get started now. Let me just start by having a look at the points we're going to cover in this session. I'm going to show you a sample unit from Marbles 1, and I'm going to, now it's working. Thank you so much. I can see the chat box being active now. So we're going to start out with a sample unit from Marbles 1. I'm going to go through it in detail. And I'm actually going to give you a range of teaching tips, suggestions as to what you can do to get the most out of the different activities. I will also look together with you at a number of other features in marbles 1 that are not represented in the sample unit that I've chosen. We'll then look at 1 or 2, depending on the time. I have prepared 2 sample units from marbles 3, but we are actually, probably for time reasons, only going to look at 1 or look at 1 in more detail and the other one a bit faster, okay? As I've said, I'm going to share practical tips and we'll have a Q&A in the last few minutes of the session. So let's look at a sample unit from marbles 1. It's lovely. So many of you are joining us. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Everybody seems to be in a good mood. And I hope the weather is nice where you are. I'm here in my study. You can see my books behind me in Austria. And it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. But this morning it was -8 degrees centigrade. So I'm actually quite happy to be inside and not outside. Okay, right. Let me start with a little tip. You probably know, but maybe not all of you know, that part of the marbles package is this welcome to the class poster. And the idea here is that you put up this poster on the wall, either in front of the class or next to the entrance, and you wait for the children as they're coming into class. And the children have a choice here. They can point at one of the pictures, and by doing so, they can select the kind of welcome ritual that each of them wants to choose individually. So here's a high five, a bow, a handshake, a little hug, a wave, and a crazy little dance. So the teacher is waiting there. The child points at one of these symbols, at one of these pictures, and then the teacher either shakes her hand with the learners or bows to the learner and the learner bows too, or they wave at each other, they do a crazy little dance, and so on and so forth. Why are we doing this? Well, because research has shown that emotional learning social emotional learning has a key impact on the atmosphere in a class. And using this little ritual makes everyone feel welcome. Well, I'm really sorry if you can't see the slide. I guess it is visible. I'm sharing it. It must be something to do with your, yeah, I guess other people can see it. Please check your setup. Yes, thank you, thank you. Okay, now let's get started. Let's have a look at Unit 3. The unit's called That's My Family. Now, the first spread in each unit in levels 1 and 2 is about vocabulary. The learners have pictures there. We are not starting with the written word immediately. They listen to the audio, they hear the words, and they point at the words. There is also a little task called Find What's It. I will introduce What's It. What's It is a fictional character. I will introduce What's It to you a little bit later. And as you can, those of you who are already working with marbles know that whenever they can see these eyes here, the children, then What's It is actually present. Okay? Now, The first spread also has a short video that presents the words mom, dad, sister, brother, short, tall, old, and young, presents the words and shows them short video clips. Let me just play the first few seconds of this.
Grandma. Grandma. Grandpa. Grandpa. Mum.
And so on
Grandma.
and so forth. So we present the words with the help of little videos. They can make the connection. Thank you so much, New Media. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Thanks for the flowers. So children listen to the words, they hear the words, they point at the pictures. So they have a first multi-sensory experience when they meet the new words. Where can they find the videos? Lars, can you please write the answer? They're part of the teacher's package, actually. Yes, thank you, Lars. In the ebook plus of the pupils' books, you can find these
3.
videos. So the
Listen,
children...
point, and remember.
Oh, sorry.
Chant.
The children can also watch the videos at home. We have a little chant now, number 3, listen, point, and remember. And
3.
The children listen to this chant, they point at the picture, at the pictures, while rhythm and rhyme, if there is any, sometimes there is rhyme, sometimes there's not, these help them to remember the words. Yes, Lars, thank you. The video is also on the presentation software, okay? Now, let's listen to let's listen to the chant.
3. Listen, point, and remember. Chant.
Grandpa, sister, brother, mum. Grandma, dad, old and young, tall and short, chant with me. What a lovely family!
And of course, the children want to join in. It's a kind of tune that is also easy to remember. They don't need to sing. It's a chant. They just speak along. But the underlying tune also helps to remember. It helps with pronunciation and word intonation. Okay? A little tip here. Words are actually, and I'm not telling you anything new here, but they are extremely important, aren't they? When we learn a new language, grammar is important, but you know, when children make mistakes, they can still communicate. While without words, we cannot communicate anything. Okay? So from the very beginning, let's encourage children to ask for extra words. For example, when we introduce the phrase, what's blah, 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 in English, and then we encourage them to ask, say, for one extra word in every lesson, okay? The teacher can write it on the board and they copy it in their vocabulary notebook. And then later we can come back to this and we can say, what's your favorite extra word? You know, we can also ask them to search for extra words outside of the class, and we can come back to that too. So just another little tip from me. The next spread, the next double page, is about language, so a bit of structure on the left-hand side of the double page. On the right-hand side, we are dealing with phonics and with helping children to get close to the pronunciation. And we have a beautiful song there. Yes, Mohammed, thanks for your comment. Absolutely. A little bit later, we can encourage them and we can help them to make short phrases with these extra words. This is Unit 3 in Level 1, so maybe not at this point of time yet, but you are absolutely right. The more contextualization we can get into the game, the better for our students' language development. Now, what do we have here? When you look at the left-hand side of the spread, this is language 1. There are 2 language focuses in every unit. This one is about asking and answering. Who's that? That's my mom, dad, etc. Okay? Now, what we do here, of course, is we are using the words they've just learned, the words for different members of their family, and we are actually bringing them together with these key questions. Who's that? The key question, who's that? And we're giving them an opportunity to communicate for real. So first of all, they listen to these little model dialogues. Then we ask them to listen and number, etc. And then we can either get them to bring some photos of their own family members, and they can communicate with each other and say, who's that? That's my sister, that's my brother, that's my mom, that's my dad, etc., etc., etc. Or if that's too much hassle, we can just get them to take a piece of paper and make some simple drawings, okay? So you can see what we're doing here. Vocabulary on the first spread. On the next page, vocabulary plus structures that leads directly to real communication in class. Then on the next page, on page 4, which, as you can see, first of all has a bit of phonics. They learn to listen and to say, and they repeat, that's my mom, that's me, that's my mom and me, okay? So simple, yet, of course, as we know, powerful. And then we have a song, and songs, of course, are extremely important for a number of reasons. Would you just type in what you think the main reasons are why songs are important, please? Can you just type it in the chat box if you agree with me? And what for you, the key reasons are why you're using songs. I'll give you a minute. Motivate students to reuse vocabulary, revisit vocabulary, introduce grammar, to practice unit vocabulary. Kids remember songs well, or the language in it. Makes learning fun, engaging, consolidation, memory, vocabulary. They make them feel at ease. Absolutely. It's about getting into a flow, have fun, activate prior knowledge. Absolutely. Songs are a sound game. Lovely. Makes learning interesting. The right pronunciation. Thank you so much. Let me play this song to you. So we're doing something in addition here. We also offer a video together with the songs. Again, the video, of course, helps to retain content, and in this way also helps to remember language. I'm sorry.
I really like my sister. I tell her every day. I really like my sister, but I just want to say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. My kite is on your chair. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. My plane is in your hair. I really like my sister. I tell her every day. I really like my sister, but I just want to say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. My pen is in your shoe. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's not so fun for you. I really like my sister. I tell her every day.
And so on. In the meantime, I've had a look at your questions in the Q&A, and there are two questions I'd like to come back to. Basically, they're both about the same thing, that pictures and songs and chants, etc., are fun and learners enjoy them. But we also have to be realistic. We have to accept that learners tend to forget a lot. And that's a key point. So I'd like to go back for a moment to the first spread where we have the vocabulary. And I'd just like to give you a few additional tips here that will help you to actually make sure they don't forget the vocabulary, because that is absolutely important. Now, when it comes to vocabulary, we want them to remember the pronunciation, and that's a question of listening very carefully. We want them to remember the articulation. That's a question of listening and saying the words. And of course, we also want them to remember the meaning of the words. And here in year one, of course, the pictures are extremely useful. The key here is that learners will always remember better when we manage them to think hard. So although what I've been showing you here is, this is fun, and fun is important because it increases motivation, but we constantly also have to get learners to think hard. So let me just show you a few examples of how I would introduce the words, how I would actually work with the words so learners also think hard. So I'm gonna be doing that not using physically, because I don't have them on me, but talking about using word cards also, okay? Because in marbles, in the lower levels of marbles, you have the words also on word cards. Now imagine that the teacher holds up a card and says, "Mom," okay? And the students will, of course, repeat "Mom," and you put the card on the board, and then you say, "Dad," and they repeat "Dad," and you put it there, and then sister and brother, etc., etc., etc. So what I want to do next is I want them to close their eyes and listen. Now I will say, Dad, sister, brother, etc., etc., etc. Use different intonation and level of voice patterns, so they kind of like listen with interest. It's like what color underlining is to the eye, these what we call auditory submodalities, shouting one word, whispering the next, saying one word with a high-pitched voice, saying the next word with a low-pitched voice, etc., etc., etc. What these auditory submodalities are to the ear. Now, ask them to open their eyes. Now, you say to them, read my lips. And you don't say the word, you say, for example, you just articulate and you say, and they have to read your lips, okay? And they say sister, and you say, and they say mom, etc., 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 etc. Now, another thing I do is, you imagine you have all the words on the board, and now I will write numbers next to the words, like we have here in the book. You can also do it with the book, okay? So here they have the books. 1 is grandma, 2 is grandpa, etc., etc., etc. I ask them to focus on these words. I actually tell them, switch on your computer, and I explain to them that this means they now really have to focus and be totally calm and look at the pictures, say the words to themselves, and try and remember the words, and close their eyes and see the pictures in their mind's eye and say the words again, etc., 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 etc. Remember each word with the number that is next to the picture. Now give them 2 minutes, and then I say, close your eyes, and I say, for example, 1, and they call out grandma, and I say 3, and they call out mom. And try this out. It's fascinating. This helps them enormously to remember the words. It's actually work. It's about thinking hard, but it will help them to remember the words for a much longer time. Very, very important that we always challenge our learners, and we do not just do drilling and just have fun. All these things are important too, but we need to have times in between where we get them to think hard. How many words can we teach during a lesson? Well, 10 is a good number. There has always been a golden rule, never more than 6 to a beginner's class. Actually, try it out. If you work in this way, you will see that students will actually easily be able to remember 10 words. And as Ali is actually confirming here, this also helps children. If you use activities like the one I've mentioned, it also helps them to focus their attention and to increase their concentration span. And that is very, very important too. Now, we've listened to the song. Let's go on. Let's have a look at the second language point. The second language point brings together again the words we used in, they learned on the first spread, together with that's my brother, sister, mom. He's tall, okay? That's my dad. He isn't tall, he's short, okay? So we introduce he first here, but then as a next step, I'm sorry. As a next step here, as a next step, when they do they look and they circle and they say, what follows next is also she. Okay, so the learners listen, the teacher explains, they circle, he's tall, we have an arrow here. Here again, it is of course not isn't, it is, she's short, or she isn't short. And here, of course, it's she isn't short, because they have to look at the girl where we have the arrow. And in number 3, again, it's the girl with the blonde hair here. And we have she isn't old, and then here we have he isn't, he's young. I'm sorry, I almost got it wrong. He's young. Okay, now I just need to have a look at the chat box. A good way to listen and concentrate. Thank you. Thanks for the tips. Okay. Yes, I agree with you. Yes. Critical thinking, collaboration, extremely important. And these concentration activities, they're really helpful because they create a good platform, a good basis that we need later on when we want to involve them in critical thinking. Yes, this is about teaching grammar communicatively. Here, by the way, with he and she, I would like to stress the importance of short drills also, okay? And that can be very easy. We can just hold up a picture, and we have pictures of boys and pictures of girls. It requires a little bit of preparation time. So you hold up the picture of a girl, and they have to call out she. You hold up the picture of a boy, they call out he. And then, of course, you don't always have boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. You have boy, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, boy, boy, girl, etc., etc., etc. And you do this very fast, so it's fun. Later, in the next step, you don't use pictures, you say names, okay? So you say Ali, and they call out he. You say Fatima, they call out she, etc., etc., etc. Use names they know, first of all, and later you use English names also. Then we have a feature that is called Our World, which actually shows English children saying things about their world. That's why it's called Our World. And this unit is on, as you know, My Family. So we have a short feature here on family holidays, okay? They watch the video, then they listen to short sentences here, and they either tick, they write a tick here, or they draw an X depending on what is true or what is false, okay? Now, and we follow this with a little, again, speaking exercise. Photo 1 is in a city, photo 2 is on a beach, photo 3 is in the countryside, okay? Let's just have a look at the video, please. No? Here we go.
Hello, it's holiday time. Look at my holiday photos. This is me on a beach. Look, this is my boat. And this is my sandcastle. It's very big. And this is my sister Katie. And this is me in the mountains. Look! I love the mountains. What holiday photos have you got?
And it's easy to imagine how we use this later on. We actually get the children to bring their own photos, or again, draw pictures, and they can use this in a very natural way. They can use this language in class in a very natural way. And thank you so much for your positive comments here. Let's have a look at the next spread, something that I think, and I hope you agree with me, is extremely important when it comes to teaching children in particular, is values, okay? Values are about what's right and what's wrong in life. And there are a lot of what is called general values, global values. For example, accepting that people are different and knowing and appreciating that although people are different, they are people. So we use the words, I'm short, I'm tall, I'm old, I'm young, and we say we are all different, and that's great, okay? So they listen and read, they point and say, and then they draw their family and friends, and they say, look at my family, that's my dad, he's tall, that's my mom, she's blah, 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 that's my sister, that's my brother. We are all different, and that's great. So they are learning indirectly how important it is to appreciate differences between people, to appreciate the fact that people have different hobbies, eat different foods, like different sports, and are still people, okay? This kind of appreciation of otherness, and also, of course, later, other cultures, and as Mohammed is saying here, we are still humans. That's something that is so extremely important, and we have to start when children are young to teach them about values, okay? Then a short functional focus on the next page. This is my brother, so introducing somebody to somebody else, and the other person says, hello, nice to meet you. And then they point and act out. This is my mom. Hello, nice to meet you. This is my grandma. This is my granddad, etc., etc. Yes, thank you so much, Malika. The integration of values, I'd like to stress this, is crucial, such as respect, tolerance, and empathy. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you, Iman, also for your kind words. Okay. Right. Okay, good. I will carry on now. We'll have a look at the next, a teaching tip. When we have things like, hello, nice to meet you, and then you also want to add a name. So, for example, if it's a longer name, like nice to meet you, I don't know, Caroline or Samantha, or a longer name even, then there is sometimes, and with some learners, there is the danger that children will actually not be able to remember the sentence. So a longer sentence like, hello, nice to meet you, Caroline, is extremely easy for us as adults, but some learners have problems. Let's count the syllables here. Hello, nice to meet you, Caroline. That's 9 binary digits. And many children find it difficult initially to remember more than 5 or 6 such binary digits. And there is one technique that maybe not everybody knows that I would like to warmly recommend to you. The technique is actually called backward chaining, okay? So you say, Caroline, and they repeat, Caroline. And you say, you, Caroline, and they say, you, Caroline. Meet you, Caroline. Meet you, Caroline. To meet you, Caroline. To meet you, Caroline. Nice to meet you, Caroline. Nice to meet you, Caroline. Hello. Nice to meet you, Caroline. Hello. Nice to meet you, Caroline. That is extremely powerful in terms of chaining words together and helping children to remember them. Try that out. It works miracles. Okay. Now, I need to hurry a little bit. Otherwise, we will not even finish unit this one unit from level 1. Okay. Now, the next one is imagine, create, and play. And I don't need to tell you, children are extremely imaginative. So this puts them in the frame, in the creative frame. I'm a toy, okay? And they listen to an audio here, and then I'm not playing the audio, they draw, and they say something like, I'm a doll, or I'm a teddy, I'm a computer game, whatever we've had. This is my mom. She is tall. So they draw, not computer game, that was a mistake, sorry, doll and teddy, and we can have other little characters, okay? I'm a doll, this is my mom, she's tall. So they draw the doll and somebody else from the doll's family, okay? Now, the last page here is the review page, where children can see how much they know. And at the end of this page, we have now I know. They look and they tick, do they remember the words for families? Do they remember on the beach, in a city, in the mountains? And then when they've done this, they can do progress test 3, and then they're ready
1.
for unit 4.
Look.
I'm not going to
2.
the audio. Now, you have also a little project with some units. Actually, with each unit, there's a project, and that's in the appendix. They can create finger puppets, and they can use these finger puppets to act out little dialogues and do some project work. I'd like to read out Kieran Egan's famous quotation where he says, imagination is the ability to think of things as possible, the source of flexibility and originality in human thinking. So whenever we do these little projects like creating finger puppets, then using them and act out little dialogues, it's fun for the child, but at the same time, they are developing extremely important cognitive capabilities. My tip, praise them for making an effort, okay? That's more powerful than praising the outcomes of their work or praising their abilities, like you are intelligent or you are smart or what have you. It's more important to praise them for making an effort. There is a lot of research how important it is for the teacher to praise effort, okay? Now, let's move on and look at the activity book. I'm not going to talk about the activity book in such fine detail. I just like to remind you there is an activity book. It's in color, and it consolidates, it revises what we have in the book. So vocabulary, language 1, spelling, a task with the song, language 2, our world, the video gets consolidated, values get consolidated. And then we have a little writing task here, description of a person, where they use the family words, where they use adjectives such as tall and short and old and young. And finally, my marbles file, which is again about helping learners to appreciate what they have actually already learned. Okay, other features in Marbles. One, we have a little bit of, you could call it skill or subject matter teaching. So here in this case, natural science, words like touch and smell and taste and hear and see. And they use these words talking about things in their environment. Okay. I'm not playing the listening. I'm not talking now about the video. We have beautiful animated videos also in Marbles. So I just play. No, I can't. We don't have the time. I want to get into also a sample unit from Marbles 3. But please, if you haven't seen the videos yet, have a look at the Marbles website. Get in touch with Calliope. They will show you the videos, or they will point out to you where you can see the videos, the animated videos. They're really, really, really beautiful. And they help learners to learn language, and they're very powerful at that. Let's look at one sample unit from Marbles 3. This is, let's not look at the welcome unit. Let me just skip this, okay? So this is unit 2, okay? So here we have some animals. It's wild animals. So we have dolphin, kangaroo, lion, octopus, panda, parrot, penguin, shark, snake, and whale. Question is, where can you get the videos? Thank you. There's already an answer there. And the videos are available on Helbling eZone Kids, as Lars has said. You have a beautiful online platform. Those of you who are using Marbles know that. And that's where you're given all the media, including also the audios and the songs and the chants, etc., etc., etc. So here we introduce these words, and again, we go into the videos that show these animals in real life. So they also see, you know, a dolphin and a kangaroo, etc., etc., etc. And then they do something with the words. They say they live on land or they live in the sea, okay? Categorizing, an important cognitive capability, and something that gets them to think. And they remember things better because they have to think, they have to categorize. In number 4, they choose one of the animals. They can do that by holding up a picture or by just pointing at one animal in the book. So one child A has the book open, points at an animal. The other child B, has the eyes closed, and child A says something about the animal. For example, I'm big, I'm black and white, okay? And then the other child has to say, are you a shark? No. Are you a panda? Yes, I am, okay? So they're using the words straight away. Language 1 here is about what's this animal? Is it, okay, can you guess? Is it a shark? It's got lots of teeth. No, it isn't. Guess again. Is it a lion? Yes, it is. the lion has got its mouth open. What about this? Oh, I know. Is it an octopus? Yes, it is. That's one of its legs, okay? So remember, is it a lion? Yes, it is. Is it a shark? No, it isn't. There's more grammar, of course, in the grammar appendix. Now, they have these little partial images, okay? And they look at number one, they ask and answer questions. Is it a panda? Yes, it is. Number two, is it one child could say parrot? No, it isn't. Is it a kangaroo? No, it isn't. Is it a penguin? Yes, it is. Again, they're using the language straight away. Now, again, phonics, pronunciation, and then again a song. Let me quickly play a little extract from the song. No, no, I haven't got this song here. Okay, good. Then we have I've forgotten to say that we also have, so this is language 2, and language 2 is about asking for how many lions are there? There is 1. How many sharks are there? There are 4. They're practicing this language. And then we're going into the real world, a little bit of kill, natural science, endangered animals. You can see that we make the language relevant and real by getting children also to look at the real world. The texts are not difficult. North Atlantic right whales. There are, of course, some words like North Atlantic right whales, but children can understand them with the help of the teacher. Live in the Atlantic Ocean. They're very big, but they can't swim very fast. That's all language that they have learned already. This is level 3. They eat lots of tiny fish. Sometimes big ships hit them. Teacher can show that. And they are hurt. Sometimes they think plastic rubbish in the sea is food and they eat it. This makes them ill. There are only about 300 North Atlantic right whales now in the world. It's an endangered animal. The teacher needs to help them understand this. Okay. Now, here we have the video. This is a little science fiction video, which is good fun. Children love it. I can't go into this teaching tip here. We again have a project. You know, in this case, it's creating an imaginary world, a planet with animals on this world, and they say they think of, you know, fantasy animals. This is my kangaroo. It's in the sea. It's got 3 legs. It's very big, for example. Okay, and we finish off again with the review page, and we support the children also in doing this project. I actually don't have the time to go into other features in Marbles 3, but what you can see is that they have, and you have, a wide range of interesting materials that help the children to actually learn important language and use it communicatively in class. This is where I'm saying thank you so much. I'm just looking at the Q&A now. If we have any questions there left, any games to help them memorize in a fun way. Well, I've shown you some games. You will find various suggestions, absolutely, in the teacher's guide also. We also have online games. They are part of the Helbling E-Zone. Also games that help them to develop their cognitive skills, because that is something that is extremely important. So we're playing games with a real purpose. I'm sorry, I need to have a look at this. How do imagination, exploration, and creation, which Marbles seeks to promote, help develop learner agency? That is a very good question. Thank you. Who was it? Thank you, Khalil. Well, agency is about doing things. Agency is about creating something in one's mind, maybe based on a picture I have drawn, giving words to what I am creating in my mind, speaking about this creativity, this creative production, if you like, or writing about it. And this is, you know, what actually helps to foster agency in the children. Well, thanks so much for your kind words. I can see any tips or activities to develop the writing skill of slow learners and how to motivate them. Well, actually, that's not something I can go into now. It's a very important point. My suggestion would be that either we do a webinar on this one day, how to get young learners to write in English, or Calliope will inform you of this early enough. I'm actually soon coming to Morocco myself, and I hope to see many of you at the seminars, and I promise I will also say something about writing there. Thank you so much for your kind words. Lars, I'm giving back to you.
Thank you, Herbert, and thank you very much for this webinar, this useful and practical and entertaining, inspiring and engaging webinar. And I'm sure that everybody has picked up a lot of things that they can use in their classes to continue enjoying teaching with marbles, or start teaching with marbles if you're not a user already. And as Herbert has just said, he is going to Morocco by the end of February, beginning of March. So we hope to be able to meet some of you personally. That would be great. And apart from that, on February the 15th, you will have the opportunity to meet Herbert again, because he's going to do another webinar about differentiated learning and mixed ability classes, together with his colleague and co-author, Chris Diori, with whom he has written another course book for the little older students. So
Teenagers.
just before just before we finish, I would like to remind you that you will get a certificate as a participant in this webinar directly from Calliope. And Calliope, of course, will be happy to help you with getting hold of marbles. If you don't know marbles yet, to get samples of marbles, to get to know it detailed on your own. And of course, they will be helpful with anything related to this course book. So I will just finish this saying thank you very much to everybody, and have a lovely Saturday.
Lars, can I just say one thing, please? Can I just interrupt?
Yes, please.
I've seen several questions how people can get the link so they can watch the recording again.
Yeah, okay. Yes, that's the webinar has been recorded, and we will provide the recording to Calliope, to Miriam and Amin from Calliope, so you can get in touch with them, and then you will have the chance to watch the webinar again. Apart from it, will also be available on our YouTube channel.
Okay. Thanks so much. Thanks, Lars. And I would also like to say goodbye and thank everybody for your extremely active participation. I've been enjoying this, and have a great weekend, and hopefully see you very soon in Morocco.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Bye-bye, everybody.